No LeBron James in your top 20, Sam Oshtry. Explain yourself.
Yeah, so look, I mean, just to break down our top 5 and 10 real quick, we have the same exact top 4. I got Giannis over Luka. We both have Wemby, 6th best guy. You have Edwards a little lower than I would have thought. I have Jalen Brunson higher. We both have Donovan Mitchell around the same. I got KD higher. I don't have LeBron as a top 20 player in the NBA. Wow. And part of it is what we discussed earlier, where you have to be playing and the health factor entering this season. LeBron's not going to be playing for the first month or so of the year. I don't see LeBron playing more than 40 to 45 games this year. So how am I going to rank him as a top 20 player if I think that's his plan and the Lakers' plan? And he needs 50 games to pass Robert Parrish and become the NBA all-time leader in NBA games played. I don't think he's going to reach that mark this year. I think he'll probably come back for another year, but I don't see that happening. I think he's playing around 40, 50 games. So part of it is the health factor, where I don't anticipate him playing a ton of games. And so why am I going to put him as a top 20 player if I don't see that? And we saw it last year. He ended last year. You can say it was an MCL sprain in the playoffs, whatever the injuries were. He couldn't play both ends for long stretches last season. He just couldn't for the end of last season. He really tampered off, and you saw the decline. It became evident. Let me give you a stat. LeBron James had a negative net rating for the first time since his first stint with the Cavaliers. So before 2010, he had the first time he had a negative net rating since back then. He was the only real player for the Lakers who played meaningful minutes who had a negative net rating. It was a -6. That is concerning and shocking in a lot of ways that LeBron, one of the most impactful players on winning this game has ever seen, maybe the most impactful, was actually a detriment to his team. And it's because he can't play both ends anymore. What you saw for stretches of the playoff series against the Wolves, where he was great defensively, but he would give you nothing offensively. He would just hide in the corner. And in certain games, it was vice versa. He wasn't playing at all defensively, but he was great offensively. All of his advanced statistics that we discussed, BPM, win shares, PER, all of it declined last year. His impact wasn't as good as it once was. I don't think he's going to be playing as much as a lot of people think he is this year. And I just don't see him as a top 20 player. Like I can go through all these guys, Evan Mobley, Jalen Williams, Jaylen Brown, all of them I'd rather have on my team entering this year than I would LeBron James.
I'm not here to argue that what we saw from LeBron James last year was the best season of his career or anywhere close to it. But I do think the floor for him is far higher than you're giving it credit. Like, even among all those things that you brought up, the dude averaged 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, 8.2 assists, shot 50.3% from the floor and 37.6% from three. You're right. The defensive effort was not there as consistently as possible. But he played 70 games last year still. And you know the fewest games that this dude has ever played in a season, Sam Oshtry? If you had to guess, what would that number be?
I think it's like 56.
45. So 45. Not far off there. This also will be the first time in his entire career that he will not be available for the season opener. You know what was happening in the world the last time that LeBron James did not play on opening night in the NBA? There were no USB flash drives. The Chappelle Show had not debuted. Facebook had not been launched yet, and Kelly Clarkson had just won American Idol. So this dude has been doing this for a long time. I get it. He is not the clear, like top 5 player in the NBA the way that has been historically the case for him here. I still think you're underselling.
All that's great, though. Look, I don't care about the last 22 seasons. Just because his name is LeBron James and everything he's accomplished and his impact on basketball doesn't mean he's gifted into the top 20 entering the 2025-26 season. I don't care about the last 22 seasons. It's about who would you rather have on your team entering this year. And because of the decline we saw last year, and I get the raw numbers are still there. The three-point shooting was a little down, but the raw numbers were still there last year. But you saw his impact on winning based on all those advanced statistics, based on a negative net rating for the first time since his first stint with Cleveland. His impact on winning was not what it once was. And that's, to me, is evident of his decline. And that's why he's not a top 20 player to me. It doesn't matter what he did the first 22 years of his career.
It's almost like the dude's on the north side of 40 or something. But
he's 41. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about 41, or he's about to be 41. We're talking about 41-year-old LeBron James. That's who we're talking about for this list. It's not about his career, if he's the second best player, first best player of all time. That's a different conversation.
The context that I think that you are not quite giving enough credence to is they traded for Luka Doncic mid-year, man. You went from a team built around having Anthony Davis as a foundation of your entire defense to a team with Luka Doncic, who, even as you and I both view him as top 4 players in the NBA and a guy that's going to carry the crown for quite a bit of time in the post LeBron James era. That is not a guy who's ever going to be regarded for being a defensive stalwart there. So there was a lot of roster changes that I think happened midseason that I think these direct advanced analytics play directly are tied to.
Yeah, but it actually helped their record because they were in the play-in when they traded for Luka, and then they finished the year as the 3 seed. So they actually had a lot of success in the back half of the year after the Luka trade. It just wasn't, you're right, it wasn't a good enough roster, no center, no depth, a lot of issues that weren't LeBron or Luka's fault. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm certainly not critiquing the Lakers for making the trade. When you get Luka Doncic, you absolutely won't. Like they do that 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100, and rightfully so. But I do think like everyone should have accepted, and we sort of all talked ourselves into it a bit as the season progressed last year. When you bring in a player like Luka Doncic, you have to change the entire construction of your team, and they really did not have a chance to do that last year. I honestly don't think they did a great job of it this particular offseason. If this does play to your strength or your argument a bit more, I do think you're being a little bit strong on LeBron here.
It's not like a LeBron hate thing. It's the reality of his name doesn't grant him insertion into the top 10 or even top 20 because he's not my top 20. I don't care what his name is. It's about the player he's entering this season, and he's not going to play for the first month of the year. And I don't think he's going to play more than 40 or 45 games.